APIs. What are they and why are they critical for software success? I'm Josh, software exec, former startup founder and consultant, and on this channel we crack open the secrets of the software industry. Today I want to talk about APIs, the silent heroes of software success, why they can be absolutely business critical in the industry, and how they're probably used in more places than you think. But before we get into that, what is an API? API stands for Application Programming Interface, and it's a way for computers to interact with software. But you probably could have found that from a Google search without watching this video. So to give you a basic understanding of APIs, let's back up a little bit and talk about software in general. Software that you and I interact with on a daily basis is, generally speaking, a wrapper around data. Let me explain. Let's take Google Maps, for example, since it's an application that you've probably used at least once in the past, probably to get directions to a restaurant. But the application allows you to search for locations, find information about places, and plot a route to get there. And at its core, it's just a massive set of data: addresses, coordinates, places, tags, and so on. And the Google Maps application that we're all familiar with is just an interface that allows us to utilize and access that data in a user-friendly way. Another example, even video games, at their core, it's just a bunch of data. The maps, the world you walk around in, lives, items, objects in the game world, it's all stored data. And the video game that you and I are familiar with, that's the interface used to interact with the data. Okay, sure, it's a big oversimplification. But if you think of data being the core, the app is the interface that allows humans like you and I an easy and engaging way to interact with the data. But what if you want to hook up another computer to get access to the data? And that's where an API comes in, because it's not easy for computers to use an app like it is for us. So let's go back to that Google Maps example. If you want to get directions from point A to point B, you can type in your current location, your desired location, you hit go, and you get a nice visual map that you can follow each step of the way. But while that makes a lot of sense for a person, that's actually really hard for a computer to do and to follow along. Now, I chose this example because Google Maps actually has a really amazing and built out API. The API is a different interface into the data behind Google Maps. Instead of going through the app, the computer goes through the API. It sends a formatted request with locations, stops, etc. And instead of a nice, easy to read map, it gets back something like this, which isn't particularly helpful for a human, but it's formatted perfectly for a computer to read and to parse: waypoints, distances, etc. So where an application is the human interface into data, the API is the computer's interface to data. It's an alternate route, so to speak, for a machine to get information from an application in order to utilize the data or build on top of it. You can think of it as, the humans get the app and the computers get the API, which ties in exactly to the name application programming interface, as opposed to the application's human interface. But why is this important? If the data is the core offering of software, humans like you and I are only a small fraction of the potential user base. Opening that data set to other software is opening up a massive secondary market to your data, and there's several reasons why that's hugely valuable. First, it gives the option for other developers to come in and build apps that add to your application, building an ecosystem around your software that is completely reliant on your data. Look for any piece of software with an app store for a very successful implementation of building a data ecosystem. It also gives the option for more tech-savvy customers to come in and extend their usage through custom implementations, building usage investment into the software. And there are many, many uses for APIs. It's how Google Maps powers other map applications, custom route planning, location searches. It's how video games enable mod development and third-party leaderboard websites. It's how finance applications support third-party apps, access to real-time ticker prices, and research data. But they're not just giving away that access, that data, out of the goodness of their heart. Each of those automated requests coming from a computer or a piece of software is earning money. Generally speaking, most APIs are paid services. Sure, some are offered for free alongside a core offering to help build adoption or user stickiness, but in most cases, API are monetized in one of several ways. Sometimes it's a flat rate, or a flat rate with a limit of how many requests you can send to the API. But generally, the user will pay based on how many times their application made requests to the API, Generally a tiered with discounts, for example, 4,000 requests per month, 10,000, 100,000. You get the idea. Sometimes that rate decision is made in advance, where you pay for 100,000 requests and you hit a wall. But more commonly, at the end of the month, your total usage is tallied up and you're billed for your monthly usage of the API. It's also common for there to be limits set on what your API access can do. Can it only pull back data to be read, or can it write new information into the app on behalf of customers? I could get more into technical details of APIs, like the difference between an API and a feed, like RSS, different types of APIs and protocols, but maybe that's for another video. So why can APIs end up being so business critical? Well, simply put, they open up an entirely new revenue source and user base that could not exist without providing that API access. It's a strategy that builds user stickiness by way of creating an applications ecosystem based on one central piece of software, as well as opening up additional revenue stream of monetizing access to that API. You'd probably be surprised at just how many apps you use on a regular basis that also provide third-party API access to build on. Google Maps is just one example. DoorDash, Amazon, eBay, your investment or 401k app, Gmail, Outlook, Reddit, YouTube, and the list goes on. All of these provide APIs, and there's a good reason for it. All of those applications not only provide a massive benefit for their API, but they also gain massive value through that automated computer access to their services and data. So if you found that helpful, please like the video. And if you have experience with APIs in the past or are looking to implement one, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you'd like to see more videos on the software and tech industry, follow the channel. There'll be more coming soon.